Hey guys, Codeberry's here today. Hope you're all doing well. I wanted to actually make this video the day of the new monthly candle, at least yesterday. I thought it was going to open up on Sunday, but I didn't check the date because I was working on a code for a while. Anyways, I will post that code later if you're interested. So otherwise, we'll be talking about Bitcoin today, we'll talk about Ethereum, and we'll talk about Dogecoin, and then we'll quickly talk about the cannabis sector and the stock in the cannabis sector, Eden Empire, a new stock trading on the Canadian Stock Exchange that got listed in January. So we'll try to quickly go over all these things. We'll start with Bitcoin. So we had a new weekly candle yesterday. It is red. We did get another cross down on the MACD default. We got a new histogram that's red. The weekly, there is some room here, but I think that might continue down since that can happen. That can happen when the MACD default's crossing down. If this was still up, then it's different, but it's not. It looks like it's wanting to come back down, you know, to 45 area at least. I think we were talking about 38, that level right there. That's what we've been talking about as the next major support if it was to break the recent lows. Let's just say that's 38 to that tip of there. That resistance, it goes up here wherever that, see that bottom of that wick right there? That's where the resistance is. It's pushing up, and usually it'll push up to the bottom of the candle. It can. And wicks break easily. So just remember that. So we do have some red bearish volume. Anything else? We are above the EMA2 and we're above the EMA9. That's the EMA2 right there. The top number 55,904, and then the EMA9s at 54K exactly on the weekly. I think that's all. Whoops, those lines didn't want those. Okay, so I think that's all to talk about. Okay, we'll just quickly go over this. So the RSI has crossed down. It's broken overbought to the downside. So it's crossed over that boundary there. It's heading towards neutral now, which is at 50. We got the shorter indicators, period indicators heading down as well. They both inflected to negative infinity. I think other than that, there's nothing else really to talk about. We've talked about the divergence. Again, if you want to check that out, well, I'll just quickly mention it. I won't be able to go over all of it, but if you are interested on the bearish divergence, see the previous videos. Get in depth about the histograms, the volume decreasing, and all that stuff. So how that all can show bearish divergence. What's up with this ticker symbol? Let's change that to this. Okay, now we got data. So we do have a red month, a new candle. We do have the what's happening here? We do have the histogram MACD default inflecting to negative infinity, going not red but pink in my case, but it is going red technically. So we're starting to have some bearish momentum. So you can see there is some bearish momentum starting. I swear I saw last month at one point it was going red too, but that can happen. That can happen before it actually continues down. It might flash a few times, then it may go green, and then it'll go red later. It's just it's starting to signal, right? Like before, when it was down there at 47, it's low, right? It's all-time low from the bull run last time. Before this candle opened, you can bet that was probably, I think I did see it, it was pink, and this one was pink too. These both are pink, I think, something like that. Anyways, we did break, this is important here, is we broke that, the overbought. We broke the line from overbought to heading to neutral. So now we're going to be looking for that 50 level, if it's going to be heading there. That's a pretty strong signal itself. Again, we're far away from that EMA9 on the monthly. That's about where support is on the weekly. As we talked about, it's at like 40, but you'll see it go down again as the price goes lower. You'll see those averages go down. More of that in the previous videos. if you're interested. So we did break these bands. We broke that purplish one. Now we're heading down here. I think, you know, we'll head down here. At least we'll head down here. Maybe come up, test up here. But overall, I think we're definitely going down here, and then the major support is down there if this was going to go bear for a while. Why does that look different today? Oh, because it's over here. Yeah, so it's major support's at 13 area. See, this is like a cliff right now, so like imagine, you know that game like Jenga, like the tower game where you pull the blocks out and eventually it falls? You try to put as many blocks in or something, eventually it falls. This is here is like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. As soon as it goes up, there's so much momentum. Where's the next place it can fall, right? The next most red candle, it's over here. And again, for the weekly, we talked about it, like how it looks. There's nothing really else here to talk about. Just a decreasing volume. As the green candles go up, the volume decreases. Again, that's all in the divergence check out the previous videos. So for the weekly, we do have the support here, right? We got something down here, but it's not sitting on anything. It's sitting on that top of the wick, right there at 42, because that can probably break to get down here. That's what happened. Last time it kind of bounced off that level, but it didn't get there yet. We did see almost a touch of that yellow line, which is interesting. Now we're starting to form some serious resistance up here, right? We're starting to form some serious resistance. You know, it would take a very, very strong buy to try to break that. Again, we'll talk about Ethereum in a sec, but last time Ethereum ran for a month longer than Bitcoin. Not saying that's going to happen again, but it's possible, right? So we do have some strong bearish momentum here. 3 red days in a row. Were they really all red? No, this one was green, but we did see a lower wick. That's kind of like a wick that's like goes up, but it wants to close red. That one right here. We did have a lot of selling here, a little bit of retracement. We did come up here, you know, pushing up there against resistance. It's easier to see on the weekly, but then we got the default MACD starting to inflect to negative infinity. It's going red. So this is kind of what we were expecting for Bitcoin. There's some more selling. There's more selling pressure coming in. We got the recent low and probably a break at that low. So last time we talked, maybe we were about here or something. So we did get a little bit back over that yellow line. It was possible because again we cross up that yellow line, we cross down, we cross up. Now we're crossing down. So that's how kind of the trading works on the daily, on the shorter. Oh, actually all the time frames, right? That's how it works. Yeah. So there's a lot of. So you can see how much selling volume there is there. And the volume has decreased overall until here. As the price has moved up, that's all divergence. So there is, we could be heading down here based on the momentum. The faster MACD, it's crossing, but once it crosses back down, we've ventured far from that zero line a little bit here as well. And just quickly note that we're far away from the zero line here. And we're far away from the zero, well actually we're not far away from the zero line here, but we've crossed over now. We were far away from that zero line, and we've crossed over. So last time it crossed over again, it crosses down for a while, crosses up, down, down. So, you know, several weeks, it's even, you know, a long time, right? This crossed down for a long, long time before it had any up momentum, at least 6, 7 months, even 8 months before it crossed back. So, you know, we could be heading in that direction. The peaks are even higher than it was there, which means there's more momentum in that buy, which means that there could be more momentum in that sell. Anyways, we'll talk about Ethereum. So Ethereum, again, we said it fell 1 month after Bitcoin in the overall bearish market, in the long-term bear. So we will note, I don't know if we noted it before, but we'll note the divergence here. So we got the price running up, and we are down from its highs. What happened? Okay, good. So then we have the decreasing RSI, right? We got the increase in price, decreasing RSI. We won't see anything too deep. Does this ticker symbol show the crash? I don't think it does. Does it? No, I don't think this ticker symbol shows the crash. It's weird how they hit it too. There's the crash, see that? Only Kraken is showing it. Some kind of thing where they're not showing the data to everyone. It's like they're trying to hide it. Anyways, we did have a deep retracement to that yellow line, even to that below that blue one. So saying around there, if it was to do it again, and when it did happen, it ran up here, right? Ran up to that blue band, over that EMA 9 and 2. It came up high, and that all happened when that have a look. It happened pretty fast, obviously, but see, again, we're talking about that break of that overbought to the to neutral. So when that broke, that's a strong sell signal. So algorithms obviously got triggered, and it got bought up at the bottom. Now there was no divergence there. Well, there was, I guess, at that. See this peak to that peak, there was divergence there to negative infinity, bearish divergence. RSI closed lower, price closed higher. So that's what we're kind of building up to now. That's just the weekly though. We'll talk about the monthly. But you know, I think that obviously that could happen again. We are coming up high here. We're drifting far away from that yellow line. I'll just call it the average price line. So we haven't had any crossing over yet. Will we again? Of course we will, right? It crosses up, it crosses down. So there will be a point, 100%, that will cross down. When will it be? Probably pretty soon. We haven't had a cross down here yet, but we will have a cross down. So it's coming. Eventually it'll come, right? It's just some people might doubt me, call me a clown, whatever. But watch it cross down in a little bit, whenever it is. Whether it's sooner or later, it's going to cross down. We are pushing up against that blue band, so have a look at the last run. We came up a little bit higher. But is it for sure that it's going to do that? Because look at Bitcoin again. It crossed up. That was kind of the crypto, you know, crypto was new, people were buying it. There was more volume in there. It looks like overall there was more volume in that run. So volume's kind of fading off now. It's came up high against those bands. It has to kind of go back down to get bought up again before people really want to dump real money into there. They want to get a cheap price, right? If they want to make money. No one really wants to buy at the top. Again, it's uncertain. I'm just showing you an example. We'll go back here. So look how high that RSI is, right? Like that's way, way up here. Again, we talked about there's a lot of room for that to come back, at least down to the support area of that. Let's say it wasn't that peak. Whoops. It wasn't that peak. Let's just say it was this peak here. If that was, or you know, at least here, right? Come on. It's gonna eventually come down to get bought up again. That's how trading works, right? So these are maxed out. You can see those indicators, red and blue, they're maxed out. When's the last time it was maxed out? Here. Back here. When's the other time it was maxed out? Here. When's the other time it was maxed out? Here. It probably was touching there eventually, but by the time it closed, the candle closed, it doesn't show it. But it's, you know, it's been a while since those are maxed out. And these have not crossed over at all. Look how far we've drifted from that line. And again, it's right at that that MACD support right there. That's where that zero line, I don't know if you can see it. It's yellow. It's like right there. So it's far away. Whoops. It's far away from that line. So those have to connect again eventually. You know, it could take a while, but it will connect. And by the time it connects, you know, these have already inflected, right? Because where did that connect? I guess it kind of happened kind of fast. But again, these peaks are higher. These are higher peaks. These are very, very higher peaks. And there's a divergence last time right here. To that peak, price went up. And have a look at that RSI default, went down. Yeah, there isn't even that much data there. I think there's probably a better ticker symbol somewhere. But yeah, just have a look at that. And again, is there any now? Let's see. Nothing really. But will we get that for sure? It's not actually. Is that closing below that? Okay, so not this peak, but there's something here. So if you take this peak, if you take that peak, it's actually higher. If you have a look, see that line's horizontal. It's at like, I don't know, like 97, almost 98, right? And have a look at that peak over here. It's at 93, 92, right? So that peak has a negative slope to negative infinity. And while that happens, what's up with these lines keep coming on? Okay, so we have this peak increasing, like super high, obviously, right? Wherever that peak goes, it goes to the top of that price, which is up there. So you can see the divergence there. It's like a long-term divergence, but it is there. There's definitely some on the weekly, and it is there, right? We've crossed up. So when you cross into the overbought zone, that can trigger a lot of buys too. But look, before this fell, it ran up, which is what we're doing now. So we're running up. So it's even higher than what it was before last time it dumped, right? So, and there wasn't any divergence here, at least on this ticker symbol, but we do have it coming high against those bands again. At this point, it did come back down to at least the EMA 9, right? When it did get above those bands. Here we didn't really get anything. Here it still came back down. So where's that EMA 9? It's down here, right? It's at 1700. It's right above. It's right at that wick, that support right here. If that was a support, which will probably break. That's not the main support. The main support's right here. That's where the main support is. And will that break? It probably will, because that's right at the center line. And that center line, that average price for the monthly, it'll go down eventually when the price starts turning red. Anyways, we did break above that band. We've had a lot of volatility to the upside. We have the decrease in volume. So is there people chasing the pump right now? Yes, there is. They may be down from today, because once the news got out, it was already starting to dump. So let's have a look at the daily. Do we have a look at the weekly? We did, so I'll just remove all these lines. Yeah, we talked about this, so we'll talk about the daily now. So we do have the red day starting. It's a pretty heavy red day so far. We do have the break of the overbought zone to neutral. The RSI, the yellow one, it hasn't broke down yet. Room to the zero line here. Room to the zero line, no crossing over yet. Room to that yellow line. Room to the EMA 9. Where's the next daily support? It's right there. At 25, so back where we were, right? So, you know, we do have some divergence here. I guess, yeah. Because the weekly we do. So we have that divergence. Price increases. RSI goes down. Volume goes down overall. See? Whoops. Where is the peak of that volume? Somewhere up there, right? I can't see it. Maybe it's up there. But overall, the volume went down. So, you know, this could be, you know, coming to an end pretty soon. Again, it was 1 month after Bitcoin last time, and Bitcoin's already been running down. We've had red months, right? We've had red months. Have a look. We've had red months start. We have these algorithms starting to cross over. We have this one, you know, really wanting to cross over now. This one hasn't even inflected yet. So think about when that inflects. That's gonna, a lot of cells are gonna get triggered. That's probably gonna happen when that yellow starts to come up here. When it breaks down there, it's like game over. That's when the bear run starts, pretty much. Same for the weekly. So that all has started before Ethereum. So they're going to try to do what the market's trying to do, is they're going to try to get all the retail investors to start dumping their money in at the top. They're going to start triggering huge shorts, and they're going to try to take all that money from the retail investors for themselves, right? That's what's going to happen here. Whether it's the central bank's going to start doing that, they're going to try to do that. But there definitely is, like, that definitely will happen. At some point it's going to happen, especially in huge runs like this, where, you know, people want to start making, they want to, oh, like Ethereum is going up, we should buy it, right? But look, it's starting to go down at this point. So whoever bought here, they're like, oh, well, I'm in a loss. That's chasing a pump, right? So anyways, that's Ethereum. That's just my perspective on it. We have Dogecoin starting to fall too. The low of the day is 39, so I guess we had some, okay, we had a little spill there earlier, pretty recently. So again, we have that. Whoa, that's crazy. Have a look how far that is. That's really, really far. That's even more than Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think. Yeah, we talked about that last time. See, have a look at that RSI, the yellow one. It's at 99.46. It was at 100, I think, almost. I've never seen something that high before. Like, of course, there's room for that to get sold off, right? You gotta be super silly to be buying here. Extremely silly. But of course, you know, people they have the fear of missing out, right? They have the fear of missing out. They don't want to get left in the dust. But they're not thinking about what can happen if they suddenly, you know, it goes short. Maybe they don't know. They've never invested before. They've never traded before, right? They don't know if it can happen. They've never experienced it. They think, oh, well, everyone's buying, they're making money, I'm gonna make money too. Well, it's, you know, you could lose a lot of money at that point, especially if you're buying at the top and it goes short for a few years. You're going to be in a loss for a long time, right? 3 years you could be in a loss. Who wants to be in a loss for 3 years, right? So there's a lot of room to the downside. Some people might disagree, but it's clear. This is crystal clear. I haven't seen anything as clear as this before. We have the resistance forming here. Could it break? Yeah, it could, but will it come down? Yeah, I think it will come back down. We've drifted very far, and have a look where this candle came down to the EMA9. Exactly, almost. Yeah, we talked about that. It came down to like 14 cents. So we are pushing at that resistance. Pushing at the resistance. The EMA9's down here. Did we touch that last time? Yeah, I guess we did. But we do have a long way to go to that yellow band. And is it possible that we could be seeing below a penny, like 1/100th of a cent, 1,000th of a cent? I think it is possible, especially if this is going to follow Bitcoin. You know, there's a lot of room to come back down here. 100th of a cent, 1,000th of a cent, right? At least 100th of a cent, and that could break too. Who knows, right? Maybe Elon Musk is going to take profit. Maybe everyone's going to take profit. Once it starts happening, they're going to get scared. They're going to want their money, right? That can happen pretty fast. And you know, it's pretty clear. It could take a while to occur, but once it starts going red and the candles start going red, it's done. At that point, it's done. That's when everyone's like, oh yeah, it's a bear market now. So you want to know that before it happens. So there's a lot of room here. I think it's all going to come down. Honestly, it's all going to come down. It's all going to come down, and it's going to get bought up again once it comes back down. Like Ethereum back at $80. Then it's going to get bought up, and it's going to have another run. That's what it's done every time. It goes up, it comes down, it goes up, and then it comes down. So we've crossed above that yellow line, down, up, down, break, we got up, we got a lot of room to come down. So we'll do an update soon. We'll just talk about the last thing, so we'll talk about the cannabis sector quickly. I forgot about it. So we did have a recent high a few weeks ago. Actually, yeah, it was a week ago or two. So I did mention at 10 cents. It went up to 13, and it's come back down again. But oh yeah, we do have the RSI showing now. So there's a lot of room to the top on the weekly. There's nothing on the monthly yet. But when it does, you can bet it's still oversold. So there's a lot of room for it to come up. So I wouldn't worry about it. If you want to buy it, it's EDEN.CN or just EDEN. It's on the it's trading on the Canadian Stock Exchange. It's just got listed on January, so it's a new listing. But overall, the cannabis sector has been down lately. It will be going up. It's just taking a little correction. You know, we do have a lot of room once we break 33 cents. The sky's the limit, so this could be hitting $1 or more, maybe $2, $3 within the next year or two. So if I were you, I'd buy some and just hold it. Don't worry about it, just hold it for a while. They're just starting to open up their dispensaries across, well, they have dispensaries in Canada and the US, but they're opening more. They're one of the oldest dispensaries in Vancouver. I actually live, well, I live right by Vancouver. I live near the airport, kind of by the coast. So I'm just about 5-minute drive from Vancouver. I live in Richmond, actually. If you don't know where that is, like Stevenson area. Anyways, there's a lot of people who buy cannabis from Eden. Eden's one of the oldest dispensaries in Vancouver. They're actually well known for having some of the greatest bud in like all of Vancouver. Like, it's such an old dispensary. They got such a good name, and they've had some changes in regulation. They had to get new permits, so now they're opening up new dispensaries. They have dispensaries in Michigan, Oregon, Washington, Florida, some other random states like Arkansas or something. But they're opening up like across the US. They're Oregon, Washington, like Seattle area, maybe California too. Possibly, I don't know if they're getting to New York, maybe, but I know they're getting to Florida. They just got into Florida and Michigan, and they're going to continue to expand. Another place like Arkansas or something. I'm not from the States, so I forget the names. But in Canada, they're open up in BC, Alberta, and Manitoba, maybe Ontario too, and they think they're getting into Quebec. So they're starting to open up a lot, and they have growing operations in the US and Canada too, I think. So they don't just sell cannabis, they also grow. So they have a huge grow operation and a huge retail cannabis operation. I think this ticker symbol is under the life sciences sector, but you can check that out on the CSE. I'll leave a link in the description. But again, we do have some room to that EMA 9. If we get a break of 13, that would be good. Once we break 17, we'll come up here, and once we break 33, we'll come up there. You know, it could take a while. I think when it came up here to 17, that's when cannabis was taking off. So we do have room to go up right now. Again, the weekly just started showing on the RSI a few weeks ago, so there's a lot of room to get overbought. I will just have a look at canopy growth. So, you know, there's a little bit of room to come down, but you know, once it comes down, there's definitely room for it to break up again, because look, we got a break here. So it broke up there, and it wants to continue higher. So so we're coming down again. We're probably gonna test this support here. If not, we'll just continue up. We're probably gonna come down, test there. We're just gonna bounce off, and we're gonna break to new highs. So I think the cannabis sector will be doing well within the next 5 or 10 years. Like, they're gonna be, because I know a lot of people are definitely buying bud and weed and cannabis. They're buying during the pandemic, and they've shown that it's actually been increasing. The sales have been increasing during the pandemic they've been actually generating a lot of revenue through sales, just because of the pandemic. So again, canopy growth isn't a symbol just to look at the whole sector. Again, they all look different. So Aurora has a completely different picture. They had a low, and what's up with this? Okay, so they had a low, and there's a lot of room for it to get overbought. Tons of room, and to break to new highs, right? Look at that. Jesus, I was at 200 bucks, right? That's like times 10, times 20 almost. So you could be, that's the same idea of Eden. I mean, yeah, of Eden, it can it could break up there, and then it could go up even higher eventually. So this is what I'm talking about. These are the kind of things you want to buy when they're low, that there's potential for it to come up. This is Bitcoin and Ethereum and Dogecoin. Well, actually, no, they're not even there. They're up here. What do you think is going to happen over time, right? Over the next few years, it gets corrected. Have a look. This is just starting to cross over. Just starting to cross over, right? 1 month. This month just started. I think we said that last time too. So this month just started. So pretend that candle wasn't even there. It just started, right? We're at the beginning of the month. It's green. We have huge momentum, downside momentum, and a cross up. We got tons of room to come back up. And you can note that by the RSI, we got tons of room to get back up. This is real low. This is a good spot to enter, right? We came low. We came down to $3. We had a recent high of 20, right? There's a lot of money to be made here. That's what I'm saying. So just check it out. Again, it's EDEN. Eden Empire Incorporated, EDEN Empire INC. It trades on the CSE, Canadian Stock Exchange. I'm not sure if you're American how to buy those. I would definitely check out TD and tell them you want to buy Canadian stocks, because I did that with TD before. I asked them, well, you can do it anywhere. Pretty much you can buy Canadian and US stocks really easy with any bank. So hopefully that you can do the same in the States if you're in the States, or whatever, wherever you are. The UK or whatever, Europe or Asia or something, I have no idea, but if you're in Asia, I check out, and in the UK even, I check out HSBC, because there's a big HSBC in Vancouver. Actually, there's tons. There's tons of HSBCs, and they got like all different kind of languages written on them, so I check that out if you're like overseas. But if you're in the States, I check out TD. TD Waterhouse should be able to let you buy this stock. You just might need to open up a Canadian cash account, and just tell them you want to buy something on the CSE, Canadian Stock Exchange, and just tell them the symbol and they'll do it for you, or you can just probably go into the portal and buy it. But definitely check it out. I think if you get in now, within the next few years, you could be seeing a couple dollars, at least $1 within the next year. And maybe, in 2 years you could see $2. So if you put in like a couple grand, maybe even 10 or 20 grand, in a few years you could be super rich. So if you have money from your investing, I definitely put some in cannabis. I think that sector will be doing well. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.